Hello, everybody. It's Ashton, and I'm excited to announce that I was selected to partake in another Wi-Fi league. This time, it was the Pokemon World Circuit, hosted by one of my good Draft League buddies, Trenell. If you haven't already, be do sure. Let me preface this video by saying you should really check out the Pokemon World Circuit YouTube channel if you haven't already, as well as their Discord. They're very active Draft League server. So if you're interested in potentially the content that they produce, or have any inclination to join a draft league yourself, you should definitely give them a look. They ended up expanding to having 4 showdown divisions this season, where it's their 10th season. They wanted to kind of commemorate it with a bang, so they're definitely going all out with 5 different divisions. But yeah, I'm excited to say that I got selected to be part of the Wi-Fi division this go around. As you might notice, the different team logo. So I decided to kind of go a little bit more out there by changing things up myself as well, where I haven't done a Wi-Fi league or any draft league in terms of recording it, at least for that matter, since the BBR Summer Scramble tournament. And to answer any questions that you might have quickly before I get a little bit further into the team and stuff like that, and into the rules of this draft league, the reason why I stopped posting content for the BBR Summer Scramble is because I had a lot of PC issues after my first week 1 battle. I attempted to stream a draft stream for our 6th season of the Ultra Recon Doubles Draft League, which is the doubles league that I host, and it kept crashing, so I ended up having to take my PC to get it fixed for about 2.5 weeks. So the week 2 and week 3 battles that would have determined whether or not I would have made it into playoffs didn't get posted there. But long story short, we didn't end up making it into playoffs. We finished in our pool of 4 coaches with a 1 win 2 loss record. So the 2 coaches that placed higher than me obviously made it further than I did. But it was still a really enjoyable season. I appreciated the opportunity a lot, and it was really fun. But yeah, this time around, we're going to turn our attention to the Pokemon World Circuit, which is going to be a very exciting league to say the least. Very interesting and unique format with this league too. Right away, you can sort of see that the Pokemon aren't necessarily ordered on my draft by highest points, lowest points, and that's because this league has a interesting and unique Terra Captain rule, to where you have to choose your Terra Captain in the first pick, but it's a signature pick that is only allowed to be 8 points or lower. So anything between 8 points or lower can be your Terra Captain, but you have to pick it as your first pick. So what I ended up doing was going with the Dunsparce, because it was definitely one of the more versatile Pokemon. By the time that the draft made it to me, I think I was like the 5th or 6th pick in round 1. So I was very, very happy to get this Pokemon. It was definitely among a bunch of things I was looking at. There was some things like Jolteon available to backup pick before me, among a couple other things. There's also some really good budget options like Electro Tsui and 6 points, I believe is where it was tiered. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I saw the Dunsparce and I thought about its versatility, where it could be used bulky offensively. It can just run so many sets in draft for you. I couldn't pass it up. So yeah, I decided to snatch that up really quickly without hesitation. Now, each division is 16 coaches. So the Wi-Fi division, the only one, we had to contend with 16 coaches picking Pokemon after their signature pick before it came back to me. Where I was the 5th pick in round 1, and it's a snake style draft, I had to wait a long time before I could get my next pick. Of course, things that I would have been interested to draft got taken, such as, the obvious ones like Dragapult and stuff, which I still have not been able to draft yet since Dragapult got released in the draft league format, let alone like showdown and stuff. So yeah, I was kind of bummed, but I think I made the most of it here. I ended up picking Annihilate. Just kind of wanted to go a little bit of a versatility route with my first 2 picks. I think I definitely hit that hit that nail right on the coffin there with the first 2 picks. Yeah, Annihilate can just do so many things. It's definitely one of the better bulky setup options in the game. It's also a really good spin blocker, where it is a ghost type, so it blocks the usage of rapid spin. And its Defiant ability allows it to punish Pokemon going for defog on it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to say the least that I have this Pokemon. And where Dunsparce already gets access to rocks, it already kind of makes a nice utility core between the two of those Pokemon. Where the Dunsparce's only weakness is fighting, and Annihilate already eats that up with its ghost typing there. So yeah, pretty stoked to have that pairing right off the bat. But yeah, moving forward, I ended up wanting to kind of take a route where I was trying to draft a draft that I wasn't entirely used to using in terms of like themes that I haven't tried yet, and you know, something that kind of struck my eye going into the third round of the draft that wasn't picked yet was something I was a little bit sketchy on drafting in the earlier stages when it was released, because I felt like it wasn't very versatile. But you know, when I saw it, I was thinking to myself, it covers a speed tier really early on that I would like to have, and with it being like one of the top 3 fastest Pokemon in the format, I figured I might as well snatch it up now before it went. So I ended up picking up Iron Bundle. Yeah, the Iron Bundle is just nuts. Pretty sure it has like base 126 or base 136 special attack and base 136 speed. So it's already only a couple speed points below Dragapult's speed tier. So it's one of those Pokemon where if you wanted to run a bulkier, a little bit on the bulkier side in a certain week, you could, if you weren't worried of your opponent's speed tiers as much. Because Iron Bundle is so fast, you can afford to run a little bit less speed, which means you can invest more into its offenses, which is always a really nice piece in your draft to have, I'd say. But yeah, I really just, Iron Bundle's not much to say about it. It's fast, hits like a truck. Its dual stabs allow it to hit the majority of the typing pairs that you can see. And yeah, I just really look forward to using it. Now, I had a very interesting first 3 in terms of, you know, I didn't exactly know where to go with it after those 3 got picked. After I picked those 3, excuse me. But I was thinking of some ideas, and I was like, well, both of them really appreciate having a safety net when they're setting up, I'd say. I'd say Annihilape's not bulky enough to necessarily... it is definitely bulky, but it's not necessarily bulky enough on its own to just kind of sit there and bulk up for free all the time. So I thought to myself, what's a good way to give it kind of a little bit more of a chance to set up more often? Because I really do want to make it like an Annihilate themed team, if that makes sense. Like a lot of Pokemon that can support Annihilate to do well week to week. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, Slowking Galar would be a really good pick here, where it has chilly reception. The thinking was, if I could get either a good reliable dual screener or something that I could set Aurora Veil with, because I was thinking in my head, chilly reception into Iron Bundle Aurora Veil to punish like slow grass types would be really cool. Because I was thinking like a slow grass type, or like a grass type Pokemon might want to come in on Slowking, and then I could chilly reception out, setting the snow, go into Iron Bundle to threaten with a Blizzard, and then rather than Blizzard, just click Aurora Veil. That was the thinking. Anyway, it was kind of quickly thought of, and I didn't give a whole lot more thought into other options after that. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of tunnel visioned on this, and because of that, I ended up getting sniped a lot. Hence why I had to settle for Slowking. So Slowking, while it does give me an extra unnecessary water type, does give me the same ability to do the thing that I was hoping to, which is set a slow pivoting chilly reception into Iron Bundle. So yeah, I'm pretty ecstatic to get Slowking. I think it's still a really good Pokemon, and it was, I believe, 2 or 3 points lower than its adversary in Slowking Galar. So not a bad budget pick, considering that's what I wanted. That's really all I wanted it for. And I did tell myself at the beginning of the draft to, just moving along here, I wanted to get something that was among the newer additions in the Indigo Disc DLC. So I was just looking at stuff, and initially I wasn't planning on getting Iron Crown per se. I ended up going for it because Jirachi got sniped. I was hoping I could get Jirachi because it felt a little bit of a better speed tier above Annihilate, hitting that base 100 threshold. But unfortunately it got sniped, which is fine. You know, I didn't really have a set draft plan, but I was definitely planning picks following the first 3. Like I was definitely thinking, okay, if I get this Pokemon, I'll get these 2, and if I get this Pokemon, I'll get this one, and then get planned for 2 after that, and so on and so forth. So I was trying to like snowball picks into ideas for other picks, if that makes sense. So I opted for Iron Crown at the end of the day, and honestly, I'm very happy that I did. It provides a really nice defensive typing that can also abuse the Aurora Veil theme that I have kind of going on here. Um, with such good natural defenses as well, something like an agility set behind Aurora Veil could be very, very threatening on this Pokemon. I could run like weakness policy in a given week, and given its natural bulk, I can eat any I could eat any super effective hit with ease without Aurora Veil, but with Aurora Veil, it just makes it that more potent, and its longevity in the mid and late stages of the game even would make it even that much better for Iron Crown's case. So yeah, that was my thinking with that. um, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to using this Pokemon. I think it was the best newer addition in terms of its value given the amount of points it was. Like it was a really good budget option out of all the ones that were left. And I also thought it gave me a little bit more of a window to play around with the remaining points that I had for my remaining 6 picks. Another thing to note, I can only draft exactly 11 picks in this draft. That's what the rule was for each coach in each division. You can't have less than 11 picks, and you can't have more than 11 picks. It had to be 11 picks. So there's a lot of strategy involved in this draft. I'll say that. And I'm not too used to points drafts, so I was really trying to hit this like right the first time, which I think was what led me to eventually get sniped as much as I did. Because going into the next pick, I was really looking for a bulky fairy, and I felt like a wish passing fairy that could pivot would have been, you know, just kind of like the cherry on top for making a good solid backbone for this this plan to work. And so I was looking at what was there, and I was immediately turning my head to Floridas. And at the time, I thought I had enough points to make it to that Floridas plus everything else that I was sort of thinking on could work. But I believe I was 1 point over the point threshold of 115 points. So unfortunately, I had to scratch the Floridas plan. But it was okay, because what ended up happening was I think I picked Aromatisse as my fifth pick, and then I picked Iron Crown, but I saw, anyway, I'll get to it later on. But basically, I saw a really cool way to get a little bit of value in what I wanted to have value in terms of typings, while also making it so that I had a team of 11 that each Pokemon had the potential to be used often. Because I don't like drafts where it's like really top heavy. Like I didn't want to have a draft of really eight really strong Pokemon and then have 3 Pokemon that were just like bench warmers. I want to have 11 Pokemon that I knew could like come to games. So I opted for the draft plan that I did. And I wanted to next fill a nice another supporting option for Slowking, like something that Slowking could another pick that Slowking could safely pivot into. And I was thinking, what has really good type synergy with a Regenerator Slowking? And I just happened to notice Cyclizar and remember that it has Regenerator, so I opted for that. Because they don't share any common weaknesses to my knowledge other than the Freeze Dry move, as far as I know. Slowking does get neutrally hit by Fairy and Dragon, unfortunately, but the ghost types that would hit Slowking are covered by Cyclizar's normal typing. And oh, I also forgot to mention Cyclizar bridges the gap between Iron Bundle and the rest of my team, because right now my team is kind of a lot of moderate to slow Pokemon and then Iron Bundle. But then as soon as I got Cyclizar, it kind of bridged the gap just a little bit more between Iron Bundle and I believe Iron Crown is the next fastest thing currently. So yeah, that was really nice. But yeah, very thrilled to get Cyclizar. It's definitely something I've been wanting to try and draft, just didn't really have the guts to draft it because I felt like its stats were a little bit underwhelming on paper. But after seeing what it can do in like certain formats outside of draft, I felt like it was a really good pickup for me. It's another one of those versatile Pokemon. It's a good utility Pokemon too with U-turn and knockoff. I do believe Shedtail is banned in this league, so I'll have to be a little bit wary of that week to week and how people perceive Cyclozar as a threat, but I definitely do see myself running sets like Choice Specs and stuff like that, so be on the lookout for Cyclozar sets, just really giving my opponents a tough time. um, Now, Ting Lu, as you see there, is the next on my list. I didn't actually draft Ting Lu in the main draft. I ended up trading for it because I ended up ending the draft with 6 extra points, I believe, and Ting Lu's 15 points, and I think Aromatisse was 9. So I think what I ended up doing was dropping Aromatisse at the end of the draft for Ting Lu. I think that's how it went. But yeah, Ting Lu was a pickup in free agency, or in the grace period. But yeah, Ting Lu's just disgusting on this team, and I'll just say that. It gives me my an electric immunity that I desperately needed. Just a really bulky utility mon, and it also kind of contributes to my initial draft theme by allowing for Pokemon to set up on Pokemon switching into hazards, while also being able to pivot Pokemon outside of those hazards. Like, Ting Lu's just so good. Gets access to Stealth Rock, Spikes, Whirlwind. Like, that's already 3 things that I was kind of hitting on my radar. And the addition of Ruination on top of those 3 things is just like icing on the cake, really. Being able to just, oh man, it's just so good. I can't wait to use it again. For those who don't remember, I did draft it in one of the URDDL seasons. I think it was the season where you drafted a Terra type and I drafted Terra Steel, and I brought Ting Lu and Bronzong. I was so good. Man, I just can't wait to use a Pokemon like this. It's such a monster. Like, it has base 110 attack as well, but it's also so bulky. Like, man, I'm so thrilled. Anyway, I'll stop talking about Ting Lu. It's just such a good Pokemon. So yeah, after seeing my draft plan kind of follow the way it did, I just ended up going the route that would have guaranteed me the remaining 4 picks of the makeup draft plan, which included me dropping Aromatisse for Ting Lu, and I ended up picking up Rotom Mow next. Rotom Mow, of course, giving me my fast electric type and a grass type, which I desperately needed. I felt like my team was very weak to bulky waters up till this point, so I really wanted to establish that pick there. And it was a really nice budget 8-point electric type too, with really good utility, so I felt like I kind of snagged that one. So Charizard's an interesting pick for me personally. I wasn't really sold on Charizard as a fire type because I felt like it was very underwhelming up until probably Sword and Shield. And even in Sword and Shield, I was kind of just like doubting the Pokemon's ability because I didn't really feel like it was good enough to be versatile week to week. Like, I felt like it was just too frail to be able to do damage. I felt like it was also like too weak to be able to, you know, capitalize on it setting up. So I was just kind of doubting the Pokemon, but one of my good coaches in another, or good friends that is coaching in another division, Mr. TSG, ended up selling the Pokemon to me. So shoutouts to Mr. TSG for selling me on 7-point Charizard here. It gave me what I was missing in a lot of aspects. I needed a second ground immunity, as well as a fast / potentially bulky fire. I'm pretty sure Charizard did lose access to Roost, but there are some Rust Talk sets that I've been looking to try. So who knows, maybe you'll see some Rust Talk Sword Stance shenanigans in the future. But look out for Charizard is all I'll say. Could be a sleeper pick. Now, those who know me, I love Skuntank in draft. Oh my goodness, this Pokemon has made its case for me personally as to why it deserves to be picked in the tiers that it's put. It's usually in the mid-low to low range tiers in like GBA tier drafts, and in the points draft leagues, it seems like it's no exception, being on the mid-low range at 6 points. But oh my goodness, if this Pokemon hasn't given me enough reason to draft it time and time again, well, I couldn't say no. Ground and Poison, relatively fast utility Pokemon with base 84 speed. One of the best dual typings in the game with Poison Dark. Good coverage. It gets Flamethrower, Play Rough, Dark Poison, obviously, among other things. Yeah, just a really, really annoying Pokemon. It also gets Defog, I'm pretty sure, too. It might have kept Defog, I'm not sure. I'll have to look back on that, but yeah, just a lot to say about Skuntank. I can never say too little about this Pokemon, other than the fact that the first time it really showed its name to me, it killed a Mega Heracross, a Skarmory, and a... Oh, geez, what was the third Pokemon? Anyway, it was something really impressive. Not to toot its own horn or anything, but... yeah, this Pokemon's nuts. And then we have Carbank. So, you might be thinking, Ashton, this is Carbank. What are you planning on doing with this? Carbank is not as bad as you think it is. It might be a 2-point Mon, and it might deserve to be a 2-point Mon, but by golly, it does not look like it. First of all, base 150 in each defense. That's a yes. Iron Defense Body Press with that amount of defense is ridiculous. Not to mention, it also has Stealth Rocks, Calm Mind, dual screens. It could do a lot in terms of support for this team. I can't remember if it gets Diamond Storm. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure Diancie's the only one of the two that can. But if I really want to, I could run Calm Mind and run some like ridiculous like tanky, especially offensive set. But yeah, don't count out Carbank. I might not bring it more than like 2 games, but by golly, when it has a good matchup, watch it make waves. Just watch it. I implore you to watch it. Just because it's 2 points doesn't mean it's going to be the least valuable member, is what I'll say. But yeah, that's the draft. At the time of recording this, I have prepped for my week 1 match versus the coach of... I'll get you the team name. It is the Belgian... Oh no, where is it? Oh no. It is the Belgian Oricorios. Yeah. Coach... Spooks is the coach of that team, and he drafted Oricorio as a signature, making my prep for him a little bit more difficult. But the interesting thing, all I'll say is the interesting thing about Spooks' draft is that he let a bunch of the coaches in the division pick his Pokemon, so he has like 36 points left over for our match. Like, he could have made some transactions. I don't know. He's a meme lord, but he's also a really good battler, so I'm not going to hold it over him and be like, oh, this is going to be a really easy win. But, I could definitely still lose to the team that he has. Like, he has some really, really good Pokemon. I just don't think his team has synergy, and it's not to the effectiveness of some other drafts in the division. But yeah, be sure to look out for that week 1 battle, and thank you all for watching my draft analysis for the Pokemon World Championships. And we'll see you for the next one. All right.